Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do an ICN yoga class together, and this is a class that I have already recorded once in Swedish, but I wanted to make it available also in English because it's a sequence with postures that are specifically good for when you are experiencing stress or anxiety in your life, and these postures can actually help. So if you don't have like a bolster or yoga block in your house, don't worry, you can use lots of other things. So feel free to use cushions, blankets, books, whatever you have handy. That's a good thing with doing yoga at home, that you probably have lots of other things handy. And if you see a dog walking around here, that's my dog Cookie, and that's his bed, if you're wondering what that thing to my left is. We are going to start here in reclined butterfly pose. Most of us are living our lives a little hunched in front of our devices. And also when we are experiencing stress, we tend to have tension in our shoulders and necks. And this is a counter pose for all of that. We're going to really open up. I'm going to use my bolster here with a blanket on top, but you can use cushions underneath your back, and also this posture. For this posture, you don't necessarily need anything. You can do it straight on the floor as well if you like. So the thing is that we want to open up our chest. So I'm going to come down on my bolster here. If you want to do the fish version instead with straight legs, you could do that. For the reclined butterfly version, you are dropping your knees out to the sides. And here you can put some blocks or cushions or whatever you need underneath your knees for support. And just notice how it feels and adjust the posture. When we're doing yin yoga, we want to do a version that corresponds with our bodies and how it feels today, more or less. You can move your arms further back to open up your chest even more if you like. So just feel free to experiment in each posture. We're going to stay here for 5 minutes. So yin yoga is a yoga where you're just staying in stillness in each posture for a long time. And because of many reasons, one is the mindfulness you want to experience in each posture, and another is to be able to work our connective tissues, our fascia. And for that we need time. Time is important to stay still for some time. So once you're here, just start to relax your breathing. So think of breathing all the way down to your belly and up through under your rib cage. Really deep breaths. And just notice what happens. That when you are slowing down your breath, deepening your breath, everything starts to relax. You can start to relaxing your mind and your thoughts and also your muscles. And this is what we want, because we need our muscles to relax to be able to reach into our connective tissues, our fascia. So our fascia will be well stressed or worked in a very slow and soft manner. And that's one of the things that you will be feeling, because when you have been staying in a posture for some time, it's normal to feel things. You're not supposed to feel pain, but you will feel something, and that's what we want. It's not a yoga form for not feeling anything, but you shouldn't go too far. You should never experience pain. So somewhere in between. And what you are feeling is usually when you are stressing your connective tissues. So just keep relaxing, keep breathing slow and deep. And just notice how it feels when everything is opening up like this. We've been in this posture for about 3 minutes by now, so if you feel that this is enough for you, feel free to come out of the pose slowly and just wait for the rest of us to finish, or do some counter poses in between. And if you're feeling okay, just stay in the pose for a little more and see if you can relax a little more, relaxing through your chest and your legs. Letting your breath help you. We have soon done our 5 minutes here, so we can finish this posture by taking a few extra deep breaths. And we are slowly going to come out of the pose. So the key is to do everything slowly in yin yoga. Take your time. You can bend your knees here, place your feet on the floor, and maybe just slowly roll off from your bolster or raise up from the floor. And sometimes when we've been in a posture for a long time, we need a counter stress, a counter posture, or some movements. So just listen to your body here and do whatever you feel you need to do before we go into our next pose, which is going to be fire log or square pose, where we are going to get into our hips. So you want to feel something here in your hips, outside of your thighs. And this is a posture that will not be possible for everyone to do. It depends a little on our bone structure, on our knees and our ankles and our hips. And also if you have some injuries, it may not be possible to do the big, full, strong version of the fire log. But there are a lot of other things available. So you can start by sitting in an easy cross-leg position, any variation. And if you like, you can sit up on something like a folded blanket. It makes it feel better for some people. And we are going to fold forwards. This is a forward fold as well. So as long as you feel something in the outside of your hips, for your thighs there, you're doing fine. You can stay there. Or you can try and place your feet underneath your knees as you're folding forward. Or the more full version here, where you are placing one leg on top of the other. still feet and knees in line, and there's also a possibility here to place something in the gap that some of us have between the knee and the foot. So just experiment, as I said. It's important to find the right variation for you, especially since we are staying in a posture for some time. And then you come forward any amount. So you can stop whenever you start feeling something. You're not supposed to go to your fullest capacity, because it will make it hard for you to stay in the pose for a longer time. So you stop once you start feeling something and breathe there. Sometimes when you've been in a posture for some time, you will feel what's called a creeping, which is when muscles and connective tissues are releasing a little more. And if that happens, which it does sometimes, but not always, you can just follow along and come slightly deeper into the pose. So it's a lot about observing the feelings and sensations in your body, also the feelings and sensations in your mind as you're doing yin yoga. And just observe. Everything is fine. So try and avoid having a lot of thoughts and judgments about what you are feeling and experiencing. Just release with ease and stay in the pose and breathe and know that everything is perfect as it is. And we're doing 3 minutes in this pose on each side. We're going to change sides now in a little while. And sometimes we also carry tensions in our hips. That's why we're doing this hip releasing posture. But we're all different. But at least I can often feel when I'm doing postures where I can feel my hips. Like it's a good sensation. I can feel it, but it's nice. It's nice feeling the stress in my hips. And especially when you're coming out of the pose, that's a really, really good feeling. Like a huge relief, both in the hips, but also in my head, actually. You can take a few really, really deep breaths here as we're finishing off. And slowly come out of the pose. And just notice how you feel. If you maybe want to counter pose here, like swiping your legs from side to side, maybe soft back bend, do whatever feels good. And then we are going to come into the other side. So just take your time and experiment and see what feels good on the other side. So the other side means that the leg that was in front will not be in front this time, or maybe the leg that was on top will be underneath this time. And come forward again, any amount. And let's relax and just observe. And we have soon done our 3 minutes here, so you can take a few extra deep breaths. And slowly come out of the pose. And maybe do a counter pose of some kind. Maybe back bend, small back bend, swiping your legs. If you can see what I'm doing, since I've got a cookie in front of me. We adopted him from Spain a couple of months back. He is wonderful, but he always wants to be part of the yoga nowadays. He wants to be on my mat all the time. Anyway, we are going to continue with another forward fold. Forward folds are really good to soothe the central nervous system, activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So good for stress and anxiety. Either you can do forward fold sitting on the floor with your legs out in front of you, and again you can sit up on a folded blanket or whatever you like, books maybe. Feel free to bend your knees if you like, especially if you have back problems. This is a good thing. So you can use a bolster or anything underneath your knees as you're folding forward. And you don't necessarily need to keep your legs together. You can spread them apart if you like. Or you can do the dangle, which is the only standing posture in yoga, which is a little more intense. Gives you more energy since your head will be deep down. Feel free to bend your knees, which I will be doing, as you drop your head and torso downwards. So any one of these postures, again, take your time to decide which is the best match for you. And we're going to stay here for 3 minutes and just relax and breathe. If you're doing the dangle, you can experiment a little with your arms here. You can keep them on the hands on the floor maybe, or you can place something underneath your hands to have a support, like books or blocks or whatever. You can hold on to your elbows if you like, if this feels good to you. And just notice how it feels. And let your breathing help you to stay in the pose. And notice your thoughts. And just see if you can avoid getting attached to your thoughts. Just let them pass by like clouds. And we can take a few really deep breaths as we are finishing off the forward fold or the dangle.
And then slowly come out of a pose. And if you've been sitting, you may again want to do a back bend. Maybe if you've been standing as well, that you want to do a small back bend. Feel free to experiment. And we are going to continue with actually posture for our upper back. The puppy pose or melting heart pose. We will be standing on our knees, so it can feel good to have a blanket underneath your knees. So as I said, we often get tensions in our upper backs and our shoulders and necks when we are feeling stressed. And this is a counter pose for that, where we are targeting our upper back. If you want a softer version, you can use, if you have a bolster, but you can use cushions otherwise, underneath your chest as you're coming down here. Or you can do without. The most common is to put your forehead on the mat, but there's a possibility to also place your chin on the mat if you're very supple. You can experiment with your arms a little here, maybe place things, cushions or blankets underneath your feet if you like. There's also variation here where you place your elbows on the mat and come with your hands to behind your neck for a reversed namaste, maybe. We're going to stay 3 minutes in this pose. So what you want is to feel something in your upper back, maybe around your shoulders. That's what we are looking for. But as always, when we're doing yin yoga, we are targeting maybe one area of the body, but we will reach very often other areas as well, depending a little on the variation we choose. And also depending on our body, because we are all a little different. And that's fine. That's perfect. And just relax. And let the stillness do its thing for your body and for your mind. Because we also need time and because we are working our meridians in yin yoga, or more specifically the chi points, nodes along the meridians, that we are targeting also when we're doing acupuncture, but in a more direct way. Also in acupressure, where you are massaging those little areas. But in yin yoga you will reach them as well, many of them, as we are holding our postures for a long time. And you will feel its effect afterwards. Once we finish this yoga class, you will be able to feel, at least I hope, and that's what we usually do, a sense of well-being. And this is the result of many things, like the mindfulness, like the stressing of the fascia, the connective tissues, and also that we've been working, massaging these little chi nodes along the meridians. And you can deepen your breath again. And I think as we're coming out of the pose, we can go direct into the next one, which is also kind of forward fold. is child's pose, and I'm suggesting extended child's pose, but you can experiment again, so you can just sit back over your heels. For the extended version of this pose, you can still keep your blanket underneath your knees if you like. I'm just removing mine because it's very thick. You can point your knees out to the sides. For the extended version, come down with your forehead on the floor or place something underneath your forehead and stretch your arms out in front of you. Or you can move your legs more together. You can even place a bolster or a big cushion underneath your head if you like, or you can move your arms along the sides of your body with your palms up. Whichever feels good to you. We're targeting especially our lower back here for a stretch there, but in the extended child's pose you will also work your inner thighs. And it's also a kind of forward fold, which is calming. So just relax into the pose as much as you can. Slow down your breath again. And just notice the sensations in your body. And notice your mind, your thoughts, your feelings. And just know that it's completely normal to have lots of thoughts. Sometimes when we are slowing down, all of these thoughts that we didn't have time to think before because we were so busy, they come now, maybe overwhelming you. But that's fine, just notice. Just notice and accept and release. You can take a couple of extra deep breaths again. And slowly come out of the pose. Maybe a back bend, maybe a side stretch, maybe nothing at all. It's up to you. We're going to do a twist next, an easy twist, which is called deer pose, that may involve your legs. It does involve your legs, but more or less, depending on the version you're doing. So I'm going to use my bolster. You can use, again, cushion or whatever you have handy, blocks, or do it straight on the floor. For the legs,
This will be maybe, depending, internal rotation of your back leg here. Notice how I'm placing my legs here with my right foot on top of my left thigh, and you can move your left leg outwards or more inwards depending on how it feels in your body. And then we're going to twist to our right over the bolster or mat or whatever we have underneath us. If this doesn't feel okay with your legs, feel free to just move your legs and have them parallel instead. This is perfectly fine. So, place yourself over your bolster or cushion or mat, and you can turn your head to either side here, so you can keep your head same direction as your legs, or opposite direction if that's okay with your neck, or even place your forehead down if that feels better. So just experiment and relax. I'm using earphones as a microphone, so I really hope that you will still be able to hear what I'm saying when I'm coming down on my ear. Twists like this are also very good to soothe the central nervous system. That's why we're doing it. And this is quite a soft twist, a relaxing twist, which is also being used in restorative yoga. In restorative yoga, we are just staying for a long time in very easy, relaxing postures. That's a yoga where you're supposed to just relax, basically. Just lay around and breathe and, relax. Compared to yin yoga, where we want to feel something. So yin yoga is a little more strenuous, if you can say that, but strenuous in a very soft and good and nice way. And some postures are common for all different yoga brands, yoga variations. You just do them slightly differently. And again, take a few extra deep breaths. Sometimes 3 minutes can pass very quickly. That's the interesting thing. Sometimes 3 minutes can feel like a long time, and sometimes they pass so quickly. So we are slowly going to come out of the pose, and we are going to do the other side. So maybe just change around or move your bolster or cushion around, which I'm going to do. So I'll still be facing the camera, and then adjust to your needs on this side. And sometimes we are slightly different in our sides, so listen to your body, adapt, and ease into the pose. And feel free to close your eyes in the yin yoga poses as well. Maybe you're already doing that, because once you are in your version of the posture, Not much more is going to happen, so you can just close your eyes and go inwards. And again, let's deepen our breath. Going to slowly move ourselves out of the pose. And maybe some counter pose or counter movements if you like. And from there we are going to continue on our backs with banana pose or bananasana, where we are going to stretch through one side at a time. So come down on your back, straighten out your legs, and move your legs towards the lower right corner of your mat and your upper body towards the upper right corner of your mat. So you will have a stretch through the left side of your body here, and just notice how it feels, especially if you're having back problems. You may not want to go too deep into this stretch. We're all different, our spines are all different, so really respect your body. It should be a nice stretch for your side. You can move your arms backwards if that feels okay. Try to stay with your shoulders and your hips on the floor, so you're not going to roll over to the side. That's the important thing. Whatever feels good with your arms, you can hold onto your elbows if you like. Maybe one hand on your belly, or move your arms down. If you want to increase the stretch through your legs, you can cross your left ankle over your right. And once you're there, once you find your variation here, just relax into the pose and breathe. This is also one of the more relaxing poses in yin yoga, at least I think so. And this one is also really good to soothe and relax the central nervous system, where we are stretching one side at a time and staying for some time. And also a good counter stretch to our hunched lives. We need to open up and stretch out. But also know that it's completely normal to experience stress and anxiety at times through our lives. Some of us more than others, depending on what happens to us in our lives, and also on what kind of personality we have. I am myself a highly sensitive person, so I am experiencing most things, I'd say, very strongly. And well, that's the way I am. And for some of us, we need to do things to relax, like yoga, meditation, go for long walks, actively seek out those activities to slow down, to refill our energy cup. And just know that this is okay, this is fine. And if you also a highly sensitive person, just give yourself that extra time to do those things. And notice what things are feeling good to you, and try and build in time to do those things more often. We're going to take a few extra deep breaths again. And slowly move yourself out into a neutral position here on the floor. And we're going to do the other side next, of course. So this time you will move your legs out towards your lower left side of the mat and the arms to your upper left side. I hope I'm saying the right things. So you will have a stretch here for your right side. And again, notice how it feels, how deep you want this stretch through your side, and adjust your arms to your knees, adjust your legs to your knees, and then ease into the pose. And let's take a few extra deep breaths again, as we are finishing off our banana pose. And slowly come out of the pose, straighten out everything, maybe have an extra stretch here. We're going to finish off with a few minutes in Shavasana, resting pose. I like to have a bolster underneath my knees, and feel free again to adjust so you feel comfortable. Maybe a blanket, maybe some cozy socks or something else, a cushion underneath your head. So you feel comfortable, because this is a posture where we are not supposed to feel anything in particular, just ease. And we're going to relax and receive the effects of the other postures that we just did. So close your eyes if this feels comfortable. Just notice your breath, but it's slow, deep and relaxed. And each time you exhale, feel how you are relaxing more and more throughout your body. Then relax your feet. Your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips and glutes. Feeling both legs relax more and more. And relax your lower back and your upper back. Your belly, abdomen, and your chest and chest muscles. Relax your shoulders and down along your arms, your upper arms and your forearms, your wrists, palms and fingers. Just let everything relax. Allow your neck to relax and your jaws and all of your little face muscles. Relax your mouth and your cheeks, your eyes, your temples and your forehead. Let everything soften. And the back of your head, and the crown of your head. Just feeling all of your body heavy, relaxed on your mat. And just enjoy this moment of being still and relaxed. And just feeling the sense of calmness spreading throughout your body. Reaching all of your system and even into your thoughts. And then place one hand over your heart and the other on your belly. And just feel your breath underneath your hands and how this has a very calming and soothing effect. And just give yourself some gratitude for having done this practice, taking the time. And we are going to slowly come back up into a seated position. So you can start by moving your hands and feet, maybe rolling your head from side to side a couple of times. And then inhale and stretch out through your arms and through your legs. And as you exhale, bend your knees into your chest and just roll from side to side a few times. And then slowly roll over to one side. And from there, when you're feeling ready, you can come back up into a seated position. And if you're seated by now, let's inhale and reach our arms up, palms together. And as you exhale, let your hands come all the way down to your chest. Namaste. Thank you so much for doing this yin yoga practice with me. I hope you're feeling good. And remember that whenever you are feeling stressed or experiencing anxiety, you can always come back to this class and do it again, because these postures actually work. I wish you a wonderful day and hope to see you again sometime. Bye bye, take care.